My name is Leonida Odongo. I come from Kenya. I'm representing an organization called Haki-Nawiri Africa. We work on the intersection of food justice, climate, and gender justice, and that's part of the reason why I'm here. I'm also a member of the coordinating committee, specifically on gender, and I'm also part of the gender and diversities working group, as well as the inequalities working group. This is the first round of negotiations for inequalities in relation to food, and coming from the African continent, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, matters of inequality are very important for us because one, we're suffering from historical injustices, of which the impacts, for example, of colonialism, we can feel it to date. And if you look at maybe technology, patenting and all that, you find that Africa becomes the recipient of obsolete products. Africa is conditioned also to be primary producer of raw materials, and this is also part of inequality. And the key things that have come out from the first round of negotiations, one is contentious issues are emerging. For example, marginalization. In Africa, we live the realities of marginalization. When you talk about people living in poverty, the bulk of poor people in the world are found in Africa. When you talk about unpaid care work and women, you find that in African continent, women tend to work more on the land as producers of food, but they don't control the market. They don't control the economic benefits of food production. When you talk about elements such as patriarchy, land is owned by men. Title deeds are often in the names of men, and women have very little control as far as land is concerned. And so this has implications as far as food production is concerned. And also, the other thing I'm bringing to this space is lived realities of our communities. One of the issues that was being discussed was ethnicity and how ethnicity leads to inequality. We have, in Africa, we have distinct ethnic communities. They have distinct relationships with land. They have distinct relationship with their culture and their food production. And that's why it's important for us to bring our distinct, unique realities to such a global space, so that our voices can be included in policy processes, and we can also be able to disseminate what comes from spaces such as FAO, processes such as the CFS, and take them back home. It's actually, our presence here has benefits in that you're able to take policy outcomes back to our own countries, and in so doing you're also able to monitor and hold accountable our governments as far as food and inequalities are concerned. And then another key point why I'm here is that I come from one of the richest continents in the world, but also one of the poorest continents. And we see this in terms of hunger. Africa continues to be in the hunger map. When you look at inequalities in food as an example of debt, we find that the most indebted countries come from Africa. Debt servicing has implications for food production. You find that when the countries are paying off debts, they transfer this payment of debt to citizens through increasing taxes. And with tax increase, what happens is that people tend to eat less food, less nutritious food. And I can give a classic example of, we had food protests in Kenya, and it was because of rising cost of food, brought about by rising taxes.